Commission meeting for December 5th to order with invocation and pledge of allegiance led by Commissioner View.
Oh, Heavenly Father, we thank you for everyone coming together today. We're asking you to help us work as a team to put forth some of the tough and difficult decisions we have to make on behalf of our community and our citizens. With your guidance, we can be assured that we'll move forward in this process. Amen.
I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
All right, roll call.
Commissioner Mantala,
Here.
Commissioner Thompson,
Here.
Commissioner View,
Here.
Mayor Bostwick,
Here
and Commissioner Phelan
is excused. All right, first up is public comment.
Good evening, Commissioners. Michael O'Connor, 526 Minnesota Avenue. My comment tonight has to do with the DDA budget amendment. I'm sure you've all read through the amendment that was presented to you already. So, as we discussed in the previous meeting, the authority shall expend tax incremental revenues received for the development program only. The way the statute's written, this does not follow the statute. I'm not sure how much clearer it can be. So I know the DDA wants to do whatever they do without any guidelines at all, but they have to follow their plan. I'm looking for you tonight to basically say, no, this has to stop. We have to have a plan. They have to follow the plan. Thank you.
Thank you.
We've got an item that's been going on in town for over a year now, and it concerns the compost area. Is the system you got now working? From what I hear, it isn't. It's not being monitored. Is the camera system working? Do you just have it turned on? And I would like to know who is monitoring the system, if anybody, or what department is responsible for monitoring the camera system up at the compost area. And how much did we spend on that monitoring system that we have up there? I would like a cost analysis on it. There, from what I understand, talking to different people, there's considerable amount of people who are abusing that system, who are not members of the Gladstone city limits. And is the monitoring system catching them? Are you doing anything with them? I am requesting a written answer to these 4 questions I just asked you, and I would like an answer within 10 working days from today, so I know what is going on. Thank you.
Could you state your name and
Orvis
address?
Delicate, 34 Mapleview Drive.
Thank you.
Yes.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Ron Miasso, 1016 Delta. I also would like to comment on the DDA budget amendment. As I go through the mission statement of our DDA, it's to enhance the quality of life and develop a positive image of downtown Gladstone for businesses, residents, and visitors. I think we have tried to do what we can do within the framework and spirit of the law. I've been online seeing what a lot of other DDAs have done statewide, And it's clear that there's a lot of latitude that is given to the DDAs in achieving their function. So, I mean, I think the bottom line gets down to if we don't give the DDA, us, a little bit of latitude in order to follow our mission, then truly there's no reason to have a DDA. And that's frankly fine with me, but I think we really need to be clear about what kind of, are we given any latitude at all? So I would ask that you consider this when you're responding to the initial request. Thank you.
Thank you. All right, moving on to the consent agenda, the payment of bills.
Conflict of interest.
Oh, do you have a conflict? Okay.
Conflict of interest. My business has a self-interest in what was being offered. I offered a formal request for the property through the Gladstone Schools on the bidding process for the property that's being asked for us to do something with tonight. Because of this potential self-interest, my decision could show the possibility of a clash between the public interests of our citizens.
Okay, now I think we have to vote on whether you have it.
Well, I'm telling you, I have one. Last
Okay.
time I got ridiculed
Right.
through the paper and everything. I
But,
do not.
Right,
I mean, I have an interest in it, and
Right.
I need to be excused from it. I can speak
Okay.
about it
What-
after your vote, I think, but in the beginning, I can't.
well, why don't I just say, does anyone have an issue with him not?
I want to leave the
Talking about
room when
this.
you discuss it.
Okay.
Because I really don't want to be able to speak out on it if I hear something I don't like. You know, I mean, you know what I'm saying.
Right,
Then I do have another conflict of interest too on item C, which is the amendment to the Rialto Center through the DDA. I could be perceived to interpret or look on to risks that my judgment or motivation for the decision making in regard to this situation because of the following connections. One, I serve on a community board. I'm a representative and associate with both of us serving on the Delta County Landfill Authority. We both served on the DDA board previously. I have comparable circumstances of the same interest with ownership of a structure in Gladstone, sharing several of the same objectives that you're offering tonight for this property. And last, I have a friendship and that understanding, no desire to wish or risk evidence of creating an occurrence of favor for or against the project. I'd like to be excused for that too.
any discussion on that? Okay, well, then I guess if there is no problems,
I mean, unless you
Well,
feel I
right.
should be part of it, but I could be biased and it could be taken wrong, you know, on how I would interject with it.
Right.
To be excused from not voting,
Be excused from the room on item A and item C.
the commission needs to vote.
Well, I didn't say,
vote
well, I
in
think we
order
still have to.
Okay, I don't
allow
care.
you to be excused.
And if they don't
So
feel
the
I have to
first-
be, I'll stay.
So the first conflict of interest, which would be, again, item
A,
A.
new business.
C,
I thought it was item
A was the first one that you talked about.
oh, item A,
of new business.
Yeah.
so that there would have to be a vote
Okay.
to excuse him from
I'll make a
voting.
motion. I would make a motion that we excuse Commissioner View from discussion and abstain from voting on new business items, agenda items A and C.
I'll support.
All right, motion by Commissioner Mantala, support by Commissioner Thompson to excuse Commissioner View from A and C. Any discussion? All right, all those in favor say aye. Opposed? Motion carries. All right. Now we go to the payment of bills. Looks like there's just one.
One bill. I move that we pay our one bill.
There's a bunch of little ones behind
okay.
it, if you look through it.
Okay.
The large
Big
bill
one.
was for budgeted paving at the cemetery for this year, which we use, Dr. Mary Cretan's left quite a bit of money to the cemetery, so we use her funds on all our cemetery improvements.
Okay,
Good deal of our cemetery.
I'll move that we pay the bills as presented to the commissioners.
I'll support.
All right, motion by Commissioner View, support by Commissioner Thompson. Any discussion? All those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Opposed? Motion carries. First up is the unfinished business IBEW Supervisor Union contract.
I think all the commissioners were going to get their questions to Commissioner Thompson and Commissioner Phelan. And we're going to set up a meeting with the union and go over the contract and all the questions.
I was under the understanding that you're going to have multiple meetings and that we didn't have to get every question in
Yep.
at this time? Okay, I just wanted to make sure, because I sent a
However-
couple and I just wanted to make sure we
Yeah.
still have opportunity to,
Whatever it takes.
okay.
And I also submitted my questions to Commissioner Thompson and Mayor Bostwick.
We'll have to get together with Commissioner Phelan and find out when he's available to set this meeting up, so we won't
Right.
do that other than here.
Yeah. Okay, anything else on it?
Yeah, I'll probably talk to Commissioner Phelan tomorrow and see how he's doing, because I know he's got walking pneumonia, which can be real serious and contagious, so we'll have to wait till he gets better.
All right. So moving on to B, manager search, the Lordstone Corporation.
Okay, I did what was requested of me and asked for the professional documents. I emailed them to all the city staff that I could think of and to all the commissioners, the ones I've talked. Did you get it, Jay?
Yes.
I don't know if we want to read, we don't want to read it, or do we want to just discuss it? I think the main thing, the main thing, we got the letter dated December 3rd, which was the last one. Everyone got the letter dated September 26th, and there was one for, what was it, October 21st, which led up to this requesting for this. And the main crux of the outline for the training would discuss and define the goals, roles, and expectation of the city commission. Discuss and find the boundaries and authority of the city commission. Discuss and define the philosophical agreement regarding the direction and management of the city. Discuss and define the goals, roles, and expectation of our city manager. Discuss and define the boundaries and authority of the city manager. Discuss and define the job qualifications of the city manager. The facilitation fee is $4,000 per day, plus the usual customary travel expenses, air, ground, local car rental, inexpensive hotels, and meals. The retreat should not exceed $10,000. And this is from Mac McIntyre, president of Innovative Management Group. And this synopsis that he sent us on his professional letterhead corresponds with what the training will be about, the last two letters that I mentioned to you. Everybody on the commission, except for the newest commissioner, was involved in at least one meeting with this person. So I just throw it out there to see where the commission is looking at moving forward with the city manager's search in regards to honing in on some of the issues from our meetings with Lordstone Corporation, where we need to kind of come together and see if we can get a manager in here with some structure on knowing our place, I guess. Because I probably make a lot of mistakes. I've only been on the commission for 17 months. I inquiz about a lot of stuff. I question a lot of stuff. And I don't feel I'm out of the realm because my training told me that's what commissioners do. You know, you should not have any retaliation or anything for brainstorming and trying to get new things put into the public eye of all the people, whether good or bad. It's up to the citizens and the commission to decide if it's worth going in a different direction on some things. And we're being pulled apart all different ways, I feel personally myself. I am being, I don't know, I'm intimidated sometimes. I really feel intimidated. It's real difficult to go forward. So I need an outsider to come in and really guide us in finding a city manager that's going to be wanting to be here for a long period of time. I really feel that's the key. If I do nothing else on this commission, I just want to get us all as working as a well-oiled machine. Teamwork, teamwork, teamwork is important. And I'm part of it, so I need to get on the team too. I just want to give my little testimony to that.
He talked in here that he would rather have this done with just the commissioners.
Are you reading from a quote?
Ooh,
Yep, it's right in the letter.
Okay, was that in the packet?
Yes.
No,
No, it
that
wasn't.
That was
I
not.
was gonna say, I didn't.
No, that didn't come.
Okay.
I might have forgotten. Did I forget you?
Saturday evening.
I'm sorry. I tried to remember everybody. I understand the Open Meetings Act. That's what you're getting at. And I figure that it could be open to the public.
It would have.
Has to
Yeah.
be.
Well, there's trainings that are open to the public. I'm thinking of utilizing Bay College myself. I mean, I'm just thinking, not at City Hall. They got the facility there. I got somebody checking into the MTech Center, Training Center. Utilize the room, the projectors, all their facilities. See if we can utilize it. They talked about, are you nonprofit? I said, no, we're a city, but the state of Michigan uses it for nothing. I'm just throwing that out there as an idea of a place to have it. And the scheduling place, you can see it's from 9 to 5 with lunch breaks and everything. And if the public comes, so what? But they have their public comment. I think wasn't that what Kim told us, that they could have a section in the beginning for public comment, and then we can get down to our business and our training for the rest of the day.
In your conversation with him, just to clarify, he says that one work session with city commission members and then a follow-up meeting with the interim city manager and staff. Would that be the second day of his?
What else does it go on? Does it say anything else if time prevails?
No, it
No.
just says, I do recommend there be a follow-up meeting to this one. And then he suggests the 9 to 5 schedule with the
What page is that on?
the first page, third paragraph, first page.
Yeah, the only thing he really has in his itinerary is stuff that's pretty well defined already.
Right, a lot of that
Like-
stuff's in
like-
our,
It is
Charter
in our
and-
charter.
and
and
our
our
charter and our
policies.
policies and our commissioner guidelines.
I personally think it'd be a waste of taxpayers' money to have this guy come here.
I think that these discussions would be good to have, but I'm wondering if it wouldn't be better to have somebody from MML that understands the hometown rule and all the other acts that affect
MML
Michigan.
doesn't do this.
I don't know if we've asked MML to do it, though.
I've asked what they do. I already got the guy
They
up
don't-
in Houghton that's willing to come down. See, once you get also with this is you get your job description for your city manager. That's the key here. And if, I guess if you're not interested in going this route to try to unite people, I have a difficult time making decisions because I'm being pulled and told to do all this other stuff that's different than what's being emailed to me and in our packets. I don't think I get enough information to make proper decisions on behalf of the citizens. And I'm old enough now that I need to make sure that any decision I make, it doesn't come back and say, well, the reason it's like that and it happened like this is because that commission did it. I mean, we make a lot of decisions based on very little information on cost of benefits analysis, on how things are going to change for our legacy costs and stuff like that. I mean, it's just like it's thrown out there. And staff does a good job. I'm not saying that. They do the good day-to-day running of the business, but I feel very inadequate voting no on stuff, and it makes me feel timid to vote no when everyone else is voting yes because I don't feel I have enough information. I mean, I would like to see, where do most of our decisions come from? Where do our decisions come from?
Recommendations.
And how are them recommendations? Behind closed doors with a group of people formulating what's best for everybody without any follow-up information for us to see how they came to that decision.
I don't think that happens behind closed doors.
Yes, it does.
I think that city management and staff is very communicative in communicating what their plan is. Our job as a city commission is to give them the okay to go ahead and run the department and run the city and just to set policy,
Okay.
not to make every decision that, down the line, we set a budget and guidelines for them, and that's their job to do that under those guidelines. It's not our job to make a decision on every action that takes place.
I'm not asking for that. I'm asking for when we make a decision, how is this going to affect all our citizens in the future?
Well, I feel they're communicated quite well through the agenda items and background research that the staff does and the department heads.
Well, why are we in
We
the
have a
situ-
staff meeting, it's not a top secret meeting. If one of the supervisors is ill or gone on vacation, one of the union people is invited to sit in his place. I mean, it's all,
Then why can't a commissioner be there? Or why can't somebody from the public? A lot of other people that have staff meetings, they have them out in the open. If you have 3 or more members talking about all the policies and procedures that you expect the commissioners to vote on behalf of our citizens, why ain't they done out in the open? If you do a one-on-one or 2 people and stuff like that, it's not that important. But when everybody gets together, why?
Well,
Not that we have interaction with you.
just as a case in point, when we're going over utilities and past due accounts, and there's a lot of private information there that cannot be shared with the public.
And that can be done with the utility people. It doesn't have to be every staff member, correct?
Well, it gets discussed at staff meeting too, and on how much money is in arrears or whatever. There's nothing top secret that goes on in the staff meeting. There's no private agendas.
I'm not saying that. I'm saying that if you have utility things, when you sent me to training, the city sent me to 3 trainings already, and I checked into all this stuff. Their staff meetings are open to the public. If they have private issues or things, and they don't have a lot of staff meetings. They have mostly, if they got problems in a department or you need to discuss things, it's one-on-one with that department and maybe a couple members of the department. It ain't. Why would you have the rec department be in there discussing stuff on utilities?
We're a very small group. There's only 5 of us, and when it's done right, we should be done in 45 minutes and go over, because everybody, I have water guys working with DPW, we have DPW working with electric, there's a lot of synergy going on and people working with other, if it's,
Well, would you have a problem if I asked for every time we get something, if we have information like the direct cost to the budget. When you ask us to implement something, or purchase something, or to do something, and I'm not doubting it, but why can't the commissioners have the true cost it is to the budget? Because there's legacy cost that has to be identified. The legal requirements on behalf of the city, I'm sure you got all that covered. I never question that because we're going to do everything legally anyways. Finding and knowing the direct impact on operations. This is stuff that other city managers,
That's in the staff report. Some of the stuff, as far as legacy costs, some of the stuff you can't predict on what legislature is going to do to change the rules or.
I'm not worried about legislator. I'm worried about when we make decisions. How many times was I told in budget sessions and that, well, the reason we're in the boat we are is because of the decisions the past commissioners make. And if we try to change it, there's nothing stopping the next commission to make this, to change it back again. And I'm trying to figure out the right way so we don't keep going 2 steps forward and a step backwards. Some of the other things they talk, cost to benefit analysis, and you don't need this on everything. These are just a few of the issues that they talked about that we as commissioners should know when we're voting on something. How about discussing the successful and unsuccessful approaches of other ideas that are coming out of the community on some of the things that we vote on? Not to make a decision against or for things, but just let people be involved with some of the progress that we're moving forward with. And I think we're going to do that with the DDA and some of the plans they have for that North Shore property. That's great to get the public involved. Then who benefits? Not a specialized group, not one person. The most benefit for the most people at the lowest cost possible. Citizens, the workforce, individual in the community, and in what way and what percentage do they benefit? I guess that's where I have a hard time because I have all this information that has been given to me in training, and I've read all the stuff that I get emailed every month, and it all falls in line somewhat with this, and I've just, I don't know.
A lot of those things are set up in long-term strategic plans and master plans, and our job is to make sure that those are being followed as a guideline, and as a lot of those things you spoke to are set up in a strategic plan and the long-term master plan. And then our job is to make sure that those goals are the actions are headed towards those goals, and to allow the city manager and department heads. They know the strategic plan, the master plan, and give them the freedom and confidence to move forward with their decision making while adhering to that.
And I agree with you. I'm not trying to knock them. I know they do a good job. I know what they do, but my problem is our MERS. We're not talking about MERS. We're not talking about the efficient use of all our departments. Our goals that we set for this year have been completely forgotten about. Our roads are horrible. And we're working on it, but I'm saying, how did we get in a situation where we have no money to do all the things that need to be done for the services of the citizens? And the comment I hear now from some staff members is, we are in the best shape we ever been. In a long time, we came out of a hole, and what a great statement to say. But at the expense of what? We had $200,000 in what was that deficit fund of equipment that we spent out of the electrical fund. Plus we give them $250,000 out of the electrical fund. Plus we paid the campground fees off. Plus we paid the harbor fees off. Plus before we paid public safety. Look at what we did with that electrical fund. What would we do if we didn't have the electrical fund? There's a lot of decisions being made that got us to this point. And if we follow the same procedure, the same way without questioning things, I think we're going to end up falling backwards again. And one thing they told me, don't take no for an answer. every lawyer, every city manager, everyone I've talked to said, you keep pursuing what you're trying to do. You try to make some changes to get more people involved, and your final question is, you're here to serve the citizens at the lowest possible cost on everything. And if we have to follow the same way, I have no problem. I'll become part of that team. But I think we need to have some guidance on changing the way some of the things are looked into. That's all. We have a lot of good people working for the city of Gladstone. We have a lot of good input. Now let's get some input from each of us commissioners who speak through the eyes of the citizens. And I don't like people telling me that I only talk to a few people and I can't worry about a couple people. I talk to a lot more than a few people. I'm so available that it actually, today, from 10 o'clock till 4:30, I had at least one or two persons in my place of business all day asking me questions, asking about different things. And I invited them all to the meeting tonight, and I don't see any of them. Darn it. I said they would give credence to what I'm trying to do here. So I'm just going to make a motion that we go with the Lordstone proposal with MAC. And if nobody supports it, at least I tried my best to try to get us on a different path for the same reason that we've been going now, only I think it'll be better. So I move that we approve the training session with Lordstone and, what's the name, United Group.
Okay, is there a support? All right, motion dies on the floor without support.
You're sure that we can't get this, we can't get MML to lead us through
In the paperwork that Kim had submitted quite a few months ago, MML does do this kind of service. And in their proposal, they had said that they do put together job descriptions.
This isn't a job description.
If you wanted to have, if you wanted Kim or Eric or whoever to contact MML again to see if they will come here and do a training kind of where, like he is, we can certainly get a quote on that.
It would need to be a training that's tailored to us, though. So that
Pardon me?
it would have to be a training that's tailored to us and our charter and, the city of Gladstone. It can't be just generic training because,
Do
I can pick up the book and read the MML book.
No, but here's the thing. These people already have all our charter information, our policies and procedure. Everything is geared towards us. You sat in the meeting, Joe. You know what he said. You gave your opinion, just like Jay did, I did, and even our Eric and Dave. And you got to remember, after this is when you put your RFPs out for your city manager. You'll have everything in place on the direction your city wants to go, the city needs to go to follow within all the rules and regulations your city has. We're not moving that way now. If you read these letters, he sees conflict all over the place. If I need to keep my mouth shut and not question anything, and if that's my job, is just to yes, everything that comes to us. If that's my job, you don't need me as a commissioner. And I do vote for a lot of things, but I do not vote for anything I do not know what the outcome's going to be when I leave being a commissioner. I don't want my name associated with a decision, if at all possible, that makes our city take steps backwards. And I'm not denying all the work that these staff people do. I feel really alienated against them because of how I can't seem to interact with them because I have such maybe off-the-wall ideas. But one of the best parts of the human brain and the community for teamwork is called brainstorming. That means you do not have anyone say, that's stupid, that's wrong, you're way out of line. You just look at it, because out of brainstorming comes some marvelous innovation for our citizens. It really does. You probably get MML, probably be the same price, but remember also that there's another guy involved in this, and that's Jeff Ketchum, who also, you know what he's going to do for us. You know what he's going to do after this. I think in the long run, if you feel MML is good, fine. But I think in the long run, what we're going to get out of a local community consulting firm, along with this, he was willing to, in the beginning, say, okay, here's what we're going to do, we'll get your city manager stuff. But after interviewing us, as two to a group, he noticed something. And these are world-renowned people. They travel all over the world working for governments, huge cities. And if you read on the end, he wants to make an impact on his city also. And that's why he's doing this. And I just feel, I'm sold by him because I've been at every meeting, and I get real excited on the good direction that he's trying to steer us. Even though some of the stuff is already done, there's a lot of conflict yet. Maybe I'm it. Maybe I'm the only one that has conflict. But then the people better not worry about how I'm going to vote on things then, because that's what our charter says. Yes, 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 or whatever. There's a lot of work in here.
I had a question on the manager search topic. I do recall the two packages that were briefly mentioned that Kim had put together from MML. I would like to see a little more background on that. It was like 2 paragraphs. I would like to see what MML could do for us to, and if I need to put this in the form of a motion, I will. I would make the motion to investigate the services MML would provide to help us formulate a job description and also a scoring system, a questionnaire tailored to our needs and the size of our city. And for her to get back to us on that.
I don't know that that needs to be a motion, though, does it?
Well, I'm just
Well,
trying
I
to get
think-
a request, then I just,
Well, no, it's a
Trying to
you can
get
make
on
it a
record.
motion.
Yeah, I think
Make
we
it
should,
official.
just so that, Is there support?
I'll support it.
All right, motion by Commissioner Mantala, support by Commissioner Thompson. Any discussion on it?
It'll give us something to compare side by side with this.
Well,
I mean,
remember, one of the things in our meetings that he said is that this has to be independent of the workers, the staff, and everything. And the reason he says that is because they can't be negotiating and setting up the rules and regulations as being their own bosses.
Right,
We're
and
not-
I
that's
think
not
working
what
with MML, they have.
no,
Yeah,
we're talking about just
Yeah.
city manager.
right.
You mean city manager?
MML would just be there to help us, like I said, to formulate a questionnaire and scoring system for the city manager. I think we know as representatives of the citizens, and these would be open work sessions, and to comply with the Open Meetings Act, that they would help us with our feedback to them.
Well, we-
And it'd be working with us, it wouldn't be
Right.
working with the staff.
Staff, no, it'd be us.
No, but the other thing is too, we've went this way before, and look what it's got us.
We went
The
with the
last three-
MML.
I
Yep.
don't know when,
Yeah, that's what they said. They went through MML for what?
Well, yeah,
not the last time, though.
not the last time.
No, last time we hired internally. But what I'm
Right.
saying is that the other two commissioners previous to the last one did not stay. And if you read these letters, we're looking for somebody that wants to be here and not a stepping stone and not wanting to just come here for a year or two and fly the coop, so to speak.
Yeah, but there's really no guarantee with anyone, though.
No, and there were circumstances with Mr. Wiesner.
One left for a better offer. in-
That's a
in
stepping stone.
In an area where he was originally from, in the out east, and the other one was sort of a change of commission after he was hired and a change of focus.
Well, he also spoke about, number one, the city manager was let go, the commissioner resigned, the condition, the fiscal financial health of your city. It doesn't get this way overnight. It didn't happen because of me. It didn't happen because of the citizens. It happened because of the commission. That's actually how it's happening. And there seems to be an imbalance in the balance of power, the checks and balances of the power. I guess I don't know. Personally, I don't. I mean, I can assume what they are, but I guess I'm talking too much because I believe in this so much for our citizens to be able to have all this documentation forever and ever and ever. You're paying for something that's going to be a legacy to leave for all the other commissioners. All the information will be documented and kept for the city for a good example. Escanaba just announced they need a new city manager. Did you get the email on Mr. O'Toole, the city manager? Everything was already in place. They had their job description. Their job's already posted within 1 week.
Scoring system.
Everything. That's exactly what would happen here. We would be fine-tuning and getting that type of setup for the rest of our city that could be actually changed as needed down the road for the different circumstances, but you would have your base foundation to move forward with at all times. And you can do it with MML, I guess. I mean, I don't think they're going to be as thorough as these people, as what I was going through with them. I really don't. There's a reason why they wrote these letters and they put that stuff in there. That is not their words. Whose words are they? All of us that were involved with it. That's what he's seen on.
All right, any more discussion on the MML one? All right, all those in favor, say aye. Aye. Opposed?
Aye.
Roll call.
Commissioner Mantala,
Yes.
Commissioner Thompson,
Yes.
Commissioner View,
No.
and Mayor Bosper.
Yes. All right, motion's approved.
Will this be on the agenda next time again?
Yeah, it will continue being on there.
Business.
All right, now we're to new business A.
That's me.
Yeah, it's you, so.
When I first started in my interim job, this sort of came to light. I didn't know this was going on until we had some commotion going on upstairs. We were working on the upstairs and making it ready for some school kids. And I see that the school and we had been working on an agreement all along. And picked up where the discussion had left off, and we, myself and Nicole, worked with Dr. Kilbertus and going back and forth, and this is the agreement we came up with. It has been approved by the school board at their last meeting. It basically is they will lease the upstairs of City Hall. Part of the upstairs, the 2,100 feet of they'll be using it as a classroom. And in exchange for that, we will vacate the current recreation building, the rec building as everybody knows it. That building is The school is on school property. Ownership of the actual building has never been known, but the actual property is owned by the school. So we'll be giving that up. And we'll be leasing the upstairs, and we will get the old bus garage on Montana and 9th Street. The agreement is a 5-year lease in which if we were to terminate the lease in any of the 5 years, it descends from $45,000, which was, I guess, the market value of what was offered for the building, down to $5,000 in the 5th year. So if we terminate the lease, we'll have to pay money to the schools for that property. But if everything goes well and good with us and them leasing the upstairs for 5 years, the property goes to us at no cost. And if they terminate the lease,
We get
we
the
don't
property.
pay either. So it's
And we get the property, right?
and we
I
get
read
the
that
property,
here.
yes. And, they've been using the upstairs already, and it actually been going really well.
Do they use do they use the upstairs every day of the week then, Monday through Friday,
Yes,
during regular business hours, or do they have access?
it's during
After
regular
hours?
business hours. It's kept locked, and I have a key, and the teacher has a key.
Okay.
So. It's the first
And if
half
they
of it.
access the upstairs, they don't have access to any other areas in City Hall?
No, they can come down the steps and then down the basement. There's a bathroom down the basement, and that would be about it. I'm not sure if the door got put up downstairs that you can shoot across downstairs.
So they don't have any access to any offices or anything?
No.
Okay.
And looking at it, possible expenditures, the building itself, if the rec, we would keep the existing rec building for the ice rink, which would be in the same place this year. Future years, we're going to have to work that out. The school has plans for that property. This year, the rec department would start working on the existing, if we were to get the building, the old bus garage, they would start working on the office space, on the plumbing and the walls and the bathrooms, and getting it with estimated cost of $12,000 to $13,000 they'd put into the building. That would, and the plan was to use Mary Cretan's money for that. Then in the future, we'd be putting in a fence and resurfacing the parking lot, doing a facade on it, making the building look nice from the outside. And so estimated total expenditures of upgrading the building in the next year or so, we're looking at probably putting about $35,500 in. On the positive side, we'll be moving out of, I still call it Johnson's gas station, but it's Rob's Texaco. We'll be moving out of that, and we'll be putting that property on the market. So we'll be selling that property, and it'll go on the tax roll.
I did have one question here also, page 7, section 25, about the ADA requirements. Is there any perceived issue with the leasee needing ADA requirements now? And would that, if that came about where they needed to do improvements to make that ADA compliable, is that
That
county?
would be at their, our attorney put that in there for our protection,
Okay.
that if for some reason in the future there was an issue, it'd be at their
So
expense.
that's, I just wanted to clarify, that is
Yeah.
correct, that they are aware that,
Yeah.
Okay.
Our attorney was quite adamant about having that in in the contract, so.
right, I understand that, right, right.
Well, were we gonna fence in at the new location?
There's a large backyard there.
Oh, behind the building?
Behind the building, so the rec, right now at the old gas station, they have that fence that sticks out close to the sidewalk and looks sort of ugly. They'll be able to put it behind that building, so you won't, a nice wooden fence, so you won't be able to see through it, or won't be good storage area for all the stuff that the rec stores each year.
Mhm. I just don't want anything fenced in out in front, because it's really hard to see at that corner when there's anything in that parking lot.
Mm-hmm. I know Gary uses that as overflow parking for his restaurant too, and we'll work with him and make sure that if he needs it, we can share that parking lot.
I'll make a motion that we approve the lease and the memorandum of agreement with Gladstone Schools.
Support.
All right, motion by Commissioner Thompson, support by Commissioner Mantala to approve the lease and memorandum agreement with Gladstone Area Schools. Any more discussion? All right, all those in favor say aye. Opposed? Motion carries. Yeah, can you get
Next up, we have the proposed user fees, and Nicole's here to explain the recreation fees that are proposed for this year.
Good evening. In front of you, you have our recreational fees. Once a year, we take this in front of the rec board. We discuss how we did, what we thought we could improve upon, whether our user fees are covering our costs adequately, whether we're providing services to the level that we should be at the cost that we're asking. As you know, the Recreation Department does recoup a lot of its costs through its user fees. So we do spend a little bit of time on this at the Recreation Board level. This year, we recommend not raising our rates. One of the areas that we look at that we're governed by is our harbor and our marina. And in years past, we weren't part of the Waterways Commission, but once we had taken money from them for our new harbor, we do have to abide by their rules and their guidelines and standards. Although it's been pretty easy as of late because they've been a little bit more lenient and they let us choose the tier that we'd like to be on. So we'd like to keep those user fees the same, along with our other ones. The only other additional or change to the user fees this year is going to be the concession and the sports park ball fields up at the sports complex. Because we have a new concession stand and some ball field improvements up there, we feel that we're probably going to be able to rent that out along with the playground up there. It is going to become quite a nice area to either have a family reunion, a picnic, kids playing on the playground, a nice concession area. We're making the concession available with dual refrigerators and freezers and locking, the ability to lock those so people can go in and actually use that facility like we rent out the beach house. So with that, we have put in a preliminary number, and we'll see how that goes. Because this is a new user fee that we've never done before.
Can we get the transient fees for the waterways? Can we get that on here somehow?
No, that is dictated by the waterways people, so they just send those out every year. So if you have a 20-foot boat, you get paid, it's $14 or, so those, we don't vote on those, that's just,
But we can't publish them?
oh, we could.
I
could.
know somebody asked me one time, and I pulled this up, but it's not on there.
Sure,
So
sure.
I had no idea what it was, you know. I was trying to point them at the website so they could help themselves, but
Oh, that would,
it
yeah,
would be nice to have it
sure.
on here, even though that it's something that we have no control over.
And I think probably it's not, we don't vote on it, so I didn't put it in there, but that could definitely be put on the website. And with, like I said, they kind of tell us what we're gonna do there.
Okay.
The sports park, is that the concession? It says sport park resident, 1 day, 2 day. Where is
No.
that?
That is going to be the building at the sports, at the ski hill.
Right, so that
And then
is-
the next page, your second page of your user fees is the concession stand.
so that's
or
a
the sports-
concession stand at the ball, the new
At
concession
the,
stand.
yeah, the Bessie concession stand.
Okay.
And I actually, Kim and I have been working, we have this on an Excel spreadsheet, which is a little bit easier, so when we publish it to the website, it looks a little cleaner.
The formatting.
And a little bit more, so it's gonna be a little bit more
Okay.
easierest to read once we get it done.
Is there any access to the, when you say beach house, $70, is that also the kitchen facility there?
Yeah. So what
Okay.
we've done, which I'm kind of proud of with the rec department, is that we always kind of, we're able to rent out our facilities, although we have a concession stand being run in there. So the people who rent out the building during the summer fight nice with the concession girl that runs the building. So they're able to use, like if you're the renter and you want to rent that building and have a birthday party, you're actually able to put some of your stuff in the refrigerator or things like that. So we're able to open up these facilities to our residents and still run a little bit of a business out of there. So, like I said, it's always kind of a work in progress. Is this going to work? Are these people going to be able to get along with? And so far, we were able to offer all of our facilities, and everybody kind of fights now. And I got to tell you, I've been here 18 years, and I don't think I think I had one coffee pot come up missing from all of our the people here are so honest, and they leave the buildings in such great shape. You would think that it would be a tremendous responsibility going in and doing inventory afterwards and make sure people here are honest. They appreciate the same with the downtown building, the DDA building. We're able to use a lot of people are able to use that. So it's kind of a neat thing that you could use all these facilities. Steve.
Nicole, the sports park ball field, can you explain how that's going to interact with the people that utilize the field now that are in
Sure.
there?
In years past, Little League, excuse me, Little League was the major user of the ball fields. And then you got American Legion, and then you started getting some travel teams, and you started getting high school ball using your fields. And so we have a bunch of different users now. So historically in Gladstone, Little League has taken those fields and they have maintained the inside of those fields, the outside of those fields for many years. Also, they did a lot of the improvements up there, and in return they use those fields. So now we're coming to a point where we have a lot of kids doing travel ball. So they'd like to go up and use those fields for practicing and to bring tournaments into the community, which we would love to have. When you host a travel ball tournament, your community really does benefit. So we want to be able to make that available for the travel ball people, although they don't do any of the maintenance, they don't pay for the fertilizers, they don't mark the fields. So we had to come up with a user fee for these travel ball users, so it was fair. So we started with our $10 per an hour and a half session, and we're going to see how that goes. So if you're using the field up there for a travel team, you're making sure it's raked up afterwards, and if you use it for 10 times, you're going to owe us $100. That's going to go into the sports park user fee line item, and we'll use that for maintenance of the fields.
My question is, this is a policy on fees. Is there any exemption from anyone from these fees?
You'd have to give me an example, Steve.
Little League,
So just,
are they required to pay these fees?
Little League is not required to pay these fees because
Okay,
they are, no,
that's-
because they do an in-kind service.
Can we have that put in here?
I'm actually working with Little League High School Ball to give them a bill every year. So I will give them a bill, and in return, they'll have payment as far as we did this, and this. So we hadn't had to do that in the past because there was only those users using it, and we weren't charging anybody else. So it's going to have to be developed where if Little League uses the fields for this amount of time, it's this amount of money, they did this amount for umpires and field maintenance, and we should be able to come up with a thing that's very transparent for people to say, hey, Little League did their time, they did maintenance on the fields, they bought bleachers, they did this, they did that, and we should be able to offset any kind of questions.
That could be covered with just a sentence that, like, Little League and Senior League will, fees will be adjusted with in-kind services. Or
Yep, we could do something like that,
add
yep.
that in there, just in case somebody ever asks. That would be.
Well, I
Well, and
mean,
it should
if
be
we
able to be
pass it
pro-
like it is now, someone else can interpret this to say that all the stuff that Little League does, they still owe. I mean, the fields are utilized a lot by Little League for a short period of time, 3 months. And I just feel the amount of money and stuff they've done up there since the 70s, and I know they don't own the fields, but they should have some type of reassurance that nobody can come back after them and say, well, you
And that's
owe-
not what this is for, and we're not trying to
No,
do
but
that.
it
And they
does say that.
And they understand, but I don't put in here that so-and-so doesn't get charged for the ball fields for the rec programs or things like this. This is for users that are not having an in-kind contribution towards the fields. But I mean, that
I would
I'm
like
not going
that
to put in my
stated in
user
there is
fees
what
or
I'm
whatever.
asking for.
But I have a contract with Little League. Every year we sign that contract, and it says what they will do, what we will do, and what they will be charged, and what they will. So every year that contract is renewed, and
It has nothing to do with this.
Well,
I'm
no,
just
because
trying to get them that
I don't
you
have a
can-
contract with those other people, so this is what covers that. I do have a contract with high school ball, Little League, and American Legion.
So if somebody had a question, you could just
Show them the contract. They wouldn't every year they re-sign that.
This is policy that everyone's going to see. I just think, and maybe I got a conflict of interest again because I've been involved with Little League all my life.
I don't think you have to worry about Little League, though,
I
being
do worry about
asked.
wording on things that I passed that doesn't cover
We have
what
a
you say
signed contract
verbally.
with
What
them.
happens when, 10 years from now when everybody here is gone?
It's probably going to be different because our
Oh, yeah.
contract with Little League has changed.
No,
a
I
lot
realize
over
that.
the
But
20
right now,
something
these fees are not going to apply to them. So I just thought if we had a disclaimer, except for Gladstone Little League. Would that be too much to ask?
Well, it would have to be Gladstone Little League, high school
Legion.
baseball, and Legion.
Right.
And if something happens up there, they will be charged for something that's not covered. If they happen to break something or something, then they would be,
Well, they are now anyways.
Yeah.
If something happens, they are now anyways,
Yeah,
basically.
with the contract in place,
Yeah.
it's
I mean, you have a
stated that.
separate contract, so if we just, if we can make an amendment to this and just say, them 3 teams are exempt from the fee schedule and put a comment why,
Covered by a contract.
Yeah, covered by a contract. Would that be?
That's fine. Not a problem.
Well, I'll move that we approve the recreation fees with the amendment that we have the 3 sports teams will have a contract and not be able to follow by the rental fees. That's my motion.
All right, have a support.
I'll support it.
All right, motion by Commissioner View, support by Commissioner Thompson. Any more discussion? All those in favor say aye. Aye. Opposed? Motion carries.
Thanks,
Thank
Nicole.
you.
You're welcome. I'm going to be taking off now. I'm going to pick up my son. You're going to go over the trail system and the grant that we received later.
What trail is that?
Will you go over that with
Yep.
them? Thank you.
I have
Thank you. All right, next up is Agenda C.
You want me to leave again? God.
See you.
Yes.
Your exercise tonight, Steve.
It's a DDA budget amendment to accommodate Rialto Center revitalization project at 1010 Delta Avenue.
Good evening, Commission. I'm here tonight with Pat Johnson. Him and his wife are the new owners of the Rialto Center. And I always forget her name. Swanee. It's hard to remember that. All right. Just wanted to give you a little bit of background. Pat approached the DDA with some ideas and plans on really revitalizing the Rialto building. The Rialto building has been owned by two gentlemen for a number of years that have kind of left things. It's in good shape, but it just hasn't been changed for 30 years.
25 years.
Yeah.
They, I mean, they took it on with a lot of energy, but then as they got older, they just ran out of that energy.
And his hope for that building is to really secure some MEDC funding through the state to do some major renovations to the building. In the staff report I give you, we want to renovate the existing 3 apartments that are there and create 3 to 4 new apartments in that building, and also completely rehab 2 commercial spaces, as well as some kind of general touch-ups and repairs and improvements to the building. In addition, wanting to do some major facade work to the building and really restore the building kind of to the, maybe not to the original historic value. I did see some pictures of it. It was pretty rustic looking when it was first built, but there was a time period after that it had some real character to it, and that's what he's looking for. When we look to apply for money from the state for a project like this, there's a couple things that are involved. One, the city does have to engage in a process of entering into an agreement with that owner of the property to engage in that grant process. There's also a city buy-in that is required for those types of funding. When we receive MEDC funding for this type of project, there is 18% admin costs that are given back to the city to facilitate the process of that program. Matt Svelin's building in Escanaba is a good example of a project that's, his building may be bigger, but it's a kind of a similar process if you think of that building in Escanaba. We've never done one of these in Gladstone. MEDC has been trying to get us to do one for a number of years. I've never had a building that wanted to undertake it, and we almost did a couple years ago with the old Bavarian Bakery. That was in 2008, and when the market crashed, the owner pulled out. We were almost to that point of working with him to this level. The request that is before you is to approve what the DDA approved on November 7th, which was $25,000, up to $25,000 for engineering costs for this building. The DDA felt that working with this building and this project would be a benefit to the DDA district. And in fact, it does meet one of the missions of their plan. And I just want to read to you from the plan, the portion that it pertains to. Under redevelopment activities in their plan, it states that as opportunities present themselves, the DDA may actively pursue the development of key properties. Acquisition, site costs, write down, site work, rehab, leasing arrangements, etc., are all allowable expenses under the DDA Act. So that's what their premise is, that this would help rehabilitate the downtown. The Rialto Center is an iconic building in the city of Gladstone, and we really want this building to be an anchor site for Gladstone. Right now, currently, the Salvation Army building, St. Vincent de Paul building is our iconic building. We really think that this building could be a business center for the community. And the DDA was anxious and excited that there's new young blood in the building that wants to put his own money into it too, because there will be plenty of owner's match that is required to be contributed towards the building.
And Pat's here to answer any questions if you have any questions about the building itself or what the proposed uses would be.
I did have one question for Mr. Johnson.
Yeah.
On page, let's see, of your, from Dynamic Design, page 2,
Uh-huh.
under proposed considerations, item number 3. Now, reading through this, it said that a walkthrough was done with you, and it says, item number 3, no roofing work will be required. You just mentioned that it's been about 25 years since anything's been done on the building.
Yep.
Is the roof still
one of the-
intact?
One of the stipulations when I bought it was they put in $8,000 worth of roofing into it because there was a leak, and there's no more leak.
Okay.
And they fixed the reason why it cost $8,000 was they fixed it right rather than just putting a little rubber on it.
But when the design group went through, they did look at the roof and.
Yep, I had it inspected.
That could be a huge,
Yep, I had
huge
it inspected by
expense.
ProTech inspectors.
Okay.
And they didn't find anything wrong with it. And if you want, I can get you that documentation too.
And for roofing, as far as MEDC grants and facade funding and any other funding that is available, they have never covered roofing. So if there was something
And
found
that's
to be.
that was my question,
Yep.
because that could be huge and throw
Yep.
your
Sure.
money budgeted
Sure.
out of whack. And
Yeah, you hate to have a nice building and then it have it be a pool.
That was one of the first things that I talked to Pat about, is we don't cover roofs and we don't cover pavement.
right, and that when I saw that, that's why I just
We gotta do
kind
the
of
top and the bottom.
Yep,
stuck out at me.
Is that a membrane roof or a rubber roof?
it's a rubber roof. If you guys ever need a tour, I'd be glad to take you guys.
It's an interesting building if you've never
real
been
cool
through the whole
tour.
thing.
And all funding from this would be from the DDA funding,
Yep,
The 25,000 would be.
5,000 match.
Yep.
And that's for this size project, that's what's required for the MEDC?
no, the engineers, what you have from Dynamic
Mhm.
Design is the engineer plan totaling up, actually could total more than that, but the DDA committed to funding up to
Up to
$25,000. So it could go over that, and Pat would be responsible for the balance. Engineering costs, when I read through this Dynamic Design RFP or proposal that they submitted, I felt that in comparison to other engineering proposals that we've seen, it was fairly complete. I was really impressed with it, actually. Oftentimes, they don't provide that level of detail and well-thought-through process. So it will line up quite nicely with everything that we would need to do to prepare for the grant. And most of this stuff, well, all of this stuff is required as part of the grant process. In addition, as part of the grant process, there are, as you saw with the urgent need grant, there are tons and tons and tons of regulations and rules that will have to be met for the state and for the feds. And having this engineering group up front doing some of this preliminary foundation work is going to save our butt many times over.
They're familiar with the process and can walk you through
Yep.
Yep,
meeting those requirements.
Yep.
right.
And we want to do it right. And there is past precedence of the DDA providing funding for an engineering study. The Bavarian Bakery was one of them, then the Legion Hall was the other one, for the apartments up top.
And in addition, one final thing I just wanted to point out is that with this application, the city of Gladstone would enter into a MISTA grant again. We haven't done that in a number of years. I think it's been about 4 years. Applying for this grant will open up the opportunity for other rental units in the downtown district to be able to apply for funding also. So it does open the door for other funding activities to occur in addition to Pat's Place. I do have a list of at least 3 other sites that want to have rehab work done that have been waiting for us to enter into this process again. I don't know how we're going to staff it or facilitate it yet. We'll work that out. But this will open the door for other entities to receive funding from the state if we're successful in getting this money. Mr. Buckman's going to help me get some staffing.
So the process for the Legion building was similar to this?
Very similar. They didn't do the extensive, they did the same thing with their rental rehab. They weren't able to create new units up there. They didn't have the space. It's similar, but Pat's project basically is on steroids. It's quite a bit more complex, quite a bit more entailed, and obviously then more money involved in both the engineering and owner's match. It's going to be required.
With the change in usage of the building, are all the other requirements met as far as parking spaces for the retail and residential spots? Any green space and buffering requirements? Is that,
Yep.
is there
That'll
enough
all
space
have
for
to-
that?
Yeah, that'll all have to be looked at and revisited. As part of the grant, one of the things that we have to do as the city is provide everything that we will do to help. One of the things that we always help with is off-street parking. There are off-street parking lots within walking distance of that building,
And we do have our own parking lot too.
and they have the parking lot in the back
Right.
also. So all of those things will be looked at each time he creates a space that changes the use of that building.
I'm just bringing that up because
Yep.
you mentioned the
He knows too much about zoning.
Delta building also, and that was an issue.
Yep, exactly. So we'll look at those things as we create new uses for that building, but ultimately, if we enter into this, the city is saying we will help and facilitate in any way possible to make this work, both financially and with other avenues that we can, like an example with the parking. And those are the big things that we can offer. Our city doesn't offer big tax breaks or big tax incentives, so being lenient by helping and working with engineering costs or parking design or any way that we can that doesn't have a long-term financial impact on us is really helpful. Other cities, sometimes are offering 10-year tax breaks, and I know Pat would probably jump at that if he could, but it's not something that we've done in our city at this point.
I had one other question, just more to educate everybody. How many existing commercial spots are downstairs right now?
We've got 9 commercial spots in there now,
Was-
3 residential. There's a few people that are interested. I don't know if you guys have heard about Marble Arms. Their stuff is looking for a home, and so I've been approached to kind of explore that. So it would be a great space to have Marble Arms back in town rather than at the fairgrounds.
I was impressed how many little offices and shops that were in there that I didn't know about.
Yeah, as the Rialto stands right now, when I tell people that we bought the Rialto Center, we're going to be moving there, people go, well, where's that? Which I think is kind of sad. It's the largest retail space in Gladstone.
Any more questions for now? Anyone wanna make a motion?
I would make a motion that we approve the DDA request for allocating up to $25,000 from the DDA for engineering costs for the Rialto Center project.
I'll support.
All right, motion by Commissioner Mantala, support by Commissioner Thompson. To approve the DDA request for budget allocation of up to $25,000 for engineering costs for Pat Johnson's Rialto Center revitalization project. Any more discussion? All right, all those in favor say aye. Opposed? Motion carries. Thank you.
Thanks,
Thank you
everyone.
very much. One other thing I wanted to point out that I thought of while you were making that motion is that if we are successful with getting this grant funding, the state would like us to do facade work with Pat's building also through the state. We've not done that. We always use our own local money for facades, so that hopefully in the future we'll save the DDA their $25,000 and then some, with not having requests for facade work to be put into that building. So we'll see how that works out. But that is our plan at this point. Thank you very much.
Okay, thank you. All right. Now it's a utility online payment system upgrade.
Yes, we have Patty's here. If you have any questions on this, the utility committee, we met, and some of us, though I missed it, had a little video conference on it, showing what how we can upgrade our existing online payment system, which is
it's a good system, but it's sort of archaic and slow, and a lot of our customers don't use it because you have to punch in a lot of data every time you use it. It's not like going to the bank and just click on Easy Pay. It'll also enable us to, our customers in Rapid River and Rock, to use the system. Is there anything else that you can think of that you want to talk about, Patty?
Some of the things with this upgrade, when we started doing our online pay, approximately 3 years ago, we went with the plain Jane, no bells and whistles, nothing, because we weren't sure how much our customers would actually use this. And I do say customers, not citizens, since we do also bill for Masonville Sewer and for the Maple Ridge water system. So they are our customers, not just our citizens. We weren't sure exactly how much they were going to use this. We found that they are using this a lot. And we have had, over the past year and a half or so, a lot of requests for the ability that, like when you go on your DTE, your information is stored there. Your credit cards, your checking account, your savings account, whatever it is you use to pay your bill. Our system is very archaic. Like I said, no bells, no whistles, and we have commissioners that use it, so they know that you have to enter in your account information every time, whether it's your credit card, your routing, and checking your savings account numbers. It's got to be done every time. We have had customers who unfortunately have been charged the $25 NSF fee simply because they have misput their numbers in. Fortunately, on some of them, it turned out that the person whose actual account number that was, because it turned out that some of them have actually pulled up somebody's account, did not have the money to pay it, so it came up NSF. If they misput their numbers in, it comes up to me saying account not found. We still have to charge them because we in turn do get charged for that. So we do have to charge our customers. This would alleviate a customer getting a $25 charge for misputting their information in. It's all stored in there. This system will also, if you're using a credit card to pay, will send you reminders that your credit card is expiring. They can set up for recurring payments. So they can set it up with, okay, every month I want my bill paid on such and such a date. And the system will do it. It will send them a reminder that their payment is going to be get ready to be taken out of their account or charged to their credit card, whichever the case may be. And it will also let them set to where they want to pay it for due date and they may not remember. This will let them set up for payment in advance. I do that personally with my own payments. Okay, it's payday. A week before, I may set it up where, okay, on this date, I want my payments made on my personal bills. This system will allow them to do it. Currently, you cannot. Another big thing is we have commercial customers who use this. We have a $600 limit. They will not let us go any higher than the $600 limit. So the commercial customers have to, in turn, enter their information. If they've got a $900 bill, they've got to go in twice, enter their information twice, and we get charged for a second transaction fee because they are making 2 payments. If we have this, it alleviates that. There is no limit on what their payment can be. So those things do help, and our customers have the ability, going on that site, to see the payments they have made in the past. Currently, you cannot do that. And our current system is also meter driven. Our customers with the Masonville Township do not have a meter. They have to use the 24/7 phone number. They cannot set up anything right now other than remembering to call, With this system, it is account number driven, so any of our customers can go online and make their payments. We do have it currently being utilized for the people in Maple Ridge, but they have meters, so they do go online, and a lot of them are using it. But the big thing that keeps people that we hear up the front window is, I don't like entering my information every single time I go in. Can't you get this changed to where we don't have to do that all the time? It's all right there. All I go in, click a button, and away I go. So what we're asking for is the approval to go forward with this. It will take, several months, of course, because it takes a while for them to implement, do all the back file information that they need to do with our billing system. They already can currently, pull up for what your bills are, what your balance is. But this will make it so much easier for our customers. They're the ones who want this, and it would make it a lot easier for them to be able to go on, see all their information. It has a nice look to it. It's easy to navigate, and it will make things a lot easier for them to pay their bills online. And in that way, we're getting our money sooner, which is the important part, is trying to make it as easy as possible for our customers to pay their bills. Any questions?
One-time cost, $10,000?
One-time cost, $10,000. Implementation.
Okay, no additional fees other than what we have now. You already pay for credit
Correct.
card stuff and stuff. So
Correct.
it's no additional fees to the people.
Correct.
So it looks like a real nice system. The only other question I would have is, did we bid this out?
We cannot. Paymentus is there.
No, I mean for setting this up.
No, Paymentus is our provider. With our billing system, we don't have many choices on where you can go to pull this information in. You have to be able to work with our North Star billing system.
Who owns
For-
that? This company owns that? I'm just trying to
No,
figure out.
it's a third party. North Star is our billing software that comes from Harris,
Okay.
and they do a lot of utilities. We get ours through WPPI, and they've got a lot of their communities are all on it. And they are actually the ones who, and I can't remember what the other system is that they have. They're getting rid of it. They're all getting their people to switch over to the Paymentus system because
But
it
this
works.
is just setting it up.
When we originally set up the online bill pay 3 years ago, there was 3 or 4 different companies that we got information from that North Star integrates with, and Paymentus was the system that we decided, that the commission decided to go with.
Okay, I
So this is
just
this
want to
is-
understand that there's nobody locally that can intervene
No.
in doing this.
No.
It's impossible.
It is impossible. This
Okay.
has to go through their corporation. Yes. This is who we have it through, and it's proprietary software, and it has to go through them. They need our files done in a certain way to meet theirs, and
So this is setting it up with WPPI and the North Star setup?
it's already set up with North Star. We're upgrading
Upgrading to a better,
to a better system.
So we have to pay them the upgrade fee, and they're the only ones that are allowed to do it?
Correct.
Okay,
It's just like our BS&A software that we use for our tax, our payroll, or anything else. Nobody else can go in and do the work for them. It's BS&A who does our upgrades and any of that type of the file integration. When we switched from BS&A to North Star for utility billing, BS&A had to do the file changes because everybody has different extensions on their files, and it's proprietary.
I mean, the only reason I ask, I'm not trying to throw a kinker in anything. I just thought if there was any local businesses that could implement something like this and...
This is a
Cooper-
third-party
that-
security,
Okay,
Yeah, you can't, no.
Very understandable. Good job. I think the
When we
people will like it.
originally went with North Star, we did a lot of research calling around, checking with other communities and checking with WPPI, their customers, and what they had good experiences with and what were the good things and the bad things, because we had a choice of two different.
This
I
or
remember.
PSN, and they're getting away from PSN. They are
Yeah,
all going
PSN.
to Paymentus now also.
Is this an unbudgeted, or was this planned for, so that's in the budget? I mean, because I can't see where I can see these individual things like this budgeted.
No, this is something we have been looking at, but we were kind of holding off on wanting to do this, but with our customers so much, and with what I've been seeing on the miskeys of accounts, and it's costing them for those types of things, we went with getting the Dog and Pony Show on it and getting the quote. And that's why we bring the quote to you now. It is an unbudgeted item. However,
We'll amend-
this is for the
we'll amend it,
convenience
or
of customers,
If we
yeah.
didn't do it this year, we'd do it at the beginning of next year. Or will some of these, because it takes a few months for this to happen, so
Yes,
some
it
of this
does.
will be billed in next
It
budget
does.
year.
Of our 2,500 residents or people that pay, is there 2,500 meters or 3,000 meters that pay?
It's 3,200 on the electric, what is it, 29 on the water,
What percentages use online payment?
30 to 40% minimum. And like I said, that doesn't account for Masonville that has
Growing it.
250 accounts that cannot use it. We
Yes,
still
sir.
will not be getting rid of our 24/7 phone number. That will still be available, which also goes through this system. So that will still be there for the ease and use of our customers. But we need to do something that will get them to pay online, that's easy and can hold their information.
Get caught up with the rest of the world. That's how everybody's going.
Yes, pretty much.
Whose servers does this run on then? They're going to configure, develop, and implement this software.
Part of it goes through our servers at WPPI. That's where our billing is held. And then they, in addition, have 3 other off-site places in which it goes.
So this will
And
run.
payment is pulled
This
from
will
that.
run at on those
Correct.
servers. Okay.
Yeah, we do not house any of this here at all. They are in charge of all security as far as credit card and checking and savings accounts information. That is all on them. That is a part of it. Security breaches, that's their thing, not ours.
They follow all the red flag rules.
Mm-hmm.
So can you develop your own username and password for this? or
Yes.
You have to remember your account number like you do now?
What you do is set up a one-time using the account number and everything. But after that, you just set up your username and password like you would normally do with any other site you go in. It's not going to be entering in meter numbers and all this other type of information all the time. It's just username, password after your initial setup. Our customers will have to set up new accounts. The old stuff will not transfer. But I had to do that same thing when UPCO changed. I had to set up my whole new account. So, you know, it would be the same thing here, but we would also roll it out with WPPI will create a bill insert for us on, hey, you know, the web pays have changed. Here's your easy way to go in and do all of this, you know, what you need to do. And I walk people through all the time on setting up online accounts, so this will make it so much easier, and we want to try and get people more and more with e-billing and with paying online. A lot of them still, after 3 years, are not aware, even with bill inserts sent or what we tell them at the counter, are still not aware that we have e-billing and online bill pay available.
It's interesting. You can go online and look at well, I'm a utility guy, so I think it's interesting. But you can look at your history, how much you used last year,
I
how
like
much you
that.
used for the last couple of years, and it actually will show you a graph, and it's really neat.
Can they sign up online? I mean, they don't have to come into City Hall, fill it,
Nope,
because it says,
everything is signed up online,
says
including
privileged and
e-billing.
confidential. What, on the bottom of this, what does that mean?
Everything from payment is sent to us as privileged and confidential. That's part of the security.
But this isn't privileged and confidential.
No.
So-
It's privileged and confidential just simply because it's a statement of work.
Okay.
Is there a mobile application?
Yes.
Like DTE?
There is a mobile app. There's also, you can set up a kiosk elsewhere. If you wanted to set up a Rialto Center, at Pat's Foods, anywhere, you could set one up outdoors. You can set up even remote kiosks in which they could go and pay their bill at a remote kiosk. But there is,
There's a standalone mobile app. You don't have to log in through a web page on your
no,
phone.
they have a
You
mobile app.
mentioned DTE,
Yep.
and theirs is fantastic. It's like one button pay.
Yep, they have a mobile app. They have, a lot of that we haven't really looked a lot into because it's, it's all part of their stuff.
That's
But
included in this package.
yeah, they got pay your bill by text. I mean, they've got all kinds of things that Vicki and I saw in this presentation that was really, really
That's
nice.
in this package. That's not another
Right.
step.
The kiosk is separate.
Right, but
But yeah, your
Mobile app.
ability to get, everything has to be with a mobile app
a
anymore.
lot of people don't even have a computer anymore.
Right.
I'll move that we approve the utility online payment system upgrade in the amount of $10,000.
I'll support it.
All right, motion by Commissioner View, support by Commissioner Thompson to approve the utility online payment system upgrade for $10,000. Any more discussion?
Nope, I just want to thank Patty for all that information. I really appreciate knowing from top to bottom what's happening.
I don't know, my husband told me when I was practicing on him I talked too much, so.
Good job. Thank you.
All right, all those in favor say aye.
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 Opposed? Motion carries. Thank you.
Thank you.
Thanks. All right, next is the 2017 meeting dates.
So Kim has printed up the scheduled meeting dates as per, and we usually would have the meetings as per what requirements of the charter. She just noted that one of the last meeting of the year is
I was going to
on
say, why is
Christmas
that on
Day.
there?
Is on Christmas Day, so I imagine
Look at that hunting season one, too.
13.
I was looking at the last four dates on there. What would happen if we moved up the last four? Say, go to November 6th, November 20th, December 4th, and December 18th. Because between that October 23rd and November 13th is 3 weeks, right? November? So that would, okay.
We did shuffle the last three this year, which
Yeah. Yes.
They usually take a look at those last 2 months, once they get closer.
We can let
to
the
it.
next commission worry about it. 4 of us are up for
You're trying to be
election.
proactive, but
Well, I think it is pretty safe that we can either cancel the December 25th or move it to December 18th. That way.
mhm.
Yeah.
So do you want to just amend the meeting schedule now to say
Yeah,
December
make a
18th?
motion.
Yeah.
Make a motion.
Well, I would make a motion then that we approve the regular meeting schedule for 2017 with the adjustment of the December 25th meeting to read December 18th.
I'll support.
All right, motion by Commissioner Mantala, support by Commissioner View for the 2017 meeting dates, except canceling the December 25th meeting and moving it to December 18th. Any more discussion? All right, all those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Aye. Opposed? Motion carries. All right, next up is city manager's report.
Like Nicole said when she was leaving, we got good news this afternoon, right about 4 o'clock. The state called and we are, congratulations, your campaign has been approved for the MEDC matching funds under Public Spaces, Community Places Grant Program. What that goes for is the trail, which we have a group that are fundraising to pay the $70,000 portion of the match for the trail system, and so the state, this grant will match any funds that that group raises. So it could be So instead of having to raise the 70,000, theoretically, we are looking at $35,000, and they'll match the other 35,000.
Excellent.
Right.
Which is good news. I know they already hit, I know it's only for dollars that come in after this came through today at 4, so that's why they've been sort of backing off and not asking for any donations yet, because they want them to be doubled if this did come through. Well, last week it looked like we weren't going to receive this, and then all of a sudden today it came in, so this was really good news. Tomorrow there is an RV meeting. The RV board is meeting tomorrow at 5 at City Hall, so everybody that's involved with that. Water department will be doing our lead copper sampling. We're doing a round in December due to what happened downstate in Flint this year. A lot of people are doing extra sampling, and the state asked us to do an extra round because we've never done cold water sampling. So we'll be doing 20 homes around Gladstone. We'll be sampling lead copper samples tomorrow, and it usually ends up taking about 3 days to get all the samples. We met and Mayor was with, and so was Commissioner Thompson. We toured the North Shore. We met with the MSU folks for the Sustainable Build Environmental Initiative. We looked at that property and went over some stuff, and we're going to be getting them a bunch of information, maps and stuff. So moving forward with that, the development of the North Shore property. Been very busy the last month, new business contacts, construction, finishing up construction for the winter, trying to beat Mother Nature. Also, we have one new business that is proposed for coming in town. I haven't made an announcement yet, but we will be having a special planning commission meeting to go over their proposed building. Public safety has been, earlier they asked for permission to set up a hiring list. We've gotten a number of people that are on that hiring list, and now they're going to be looking to move forward with possibly doing some interviews. Officer Harris is done on January 1st, and Officer Saylor will be done tentatively before the end of this budget year. So there's 2 officers that will be retiring. Just to let you know. And Thursday is Pearl Harbor Day, December 8th. I was watching a special on Pearl Harbor, and I started thinking of my dad in World War II, and there's not very many of those vets left. And they were talking to a couple of the guys that were actually at Pearl Harbor. They were both in their 90s, and they said that they have young people coming up to them and ask them who won the war. They don't even know. Just they're you know any of these guys that are still alive, you should, guys or gals, just go up to them, thank them, and get as much history as you can from them, because that was a real major turning point for us as a nation. That's all I have.
All right, thank you. City Commission Committee reports, the RV Ordinance Subcommittee. And I'm not going to be able to be there either, so. Okay, thank you. Board and commission reports. Public comment.
Ken Levine, 2722 South Hill Road, Gladstone. A lot of people come up to the compost site. A lot of them say that hammer's not being looked at. Well, I know that for a fact it isn't, because 7 contractors came in there, and I caught one and kicked them out of there. There's 58 people now. He only sold 35 stickers, or whatever, decals, whatever you want, for the year. That's less than half what we had last year. Garbage put in there, drywall. I even found a bowling ball. Fine pots, lumber. There's somebody cut trees down that looks about 16 inches in diameter to cut it up in sections. In the corner to the left, there's a big pile. You can see, look it over there, go out there. On the other side, I got a couple of people to take some of that wood out of there, but there's still a heck of a lot. Now, we cannot do nothing with it. We can't chop it up because our grinder will only take up to 3 inches. So what are you going to do about it? I don't know. I think it should go back to what the people in Gladstone are telling me. They're the only ones that should be allowed in there because they're the only ones that are obeying the rules. I had a woman and her daughter last week. I came in there and told me that contractor from Rapid River was in there, and they called the police, but they got the, what do you call it? Not directly to the police, but the police relays the message to the police department. And I have not heard nothing. In fact, the last 2.5 years, I don't know one ticket was issued for trespassing or illegal dumping. As Gladstone people, everybody in Gladstone pays. And a lot of the Gladstone people don't even use that, but they're paying every month. It's not fair. It's not right. We need to do something about it. At Gate, we can afford it. We got $68,000 in our budget. We won't use, but we used 40 last year, but that was because of all the stuff we had to clean up. But now, that gate would cost $30,000 in the cards, and the only people can come in there is got to have a card. And there's one other thing I'd like to bring up. The board, the Little League board, Mark is on that board, Mike. He lives down the street from me. He says they're going to take, next year, they're going to build their ball diamond over by the high school because they're getting tired of people asking for money for sidewalks, blacktop, or whatever else it is. There's another item, I don't remember what it was. I don't think this is good for the town, what's happening. We're going backwards instead of forward. We got a lot of good people here. In fact, these commissioners, you're doing your job, I think so. Even you, Bosworth. Anyway, there's something got to be done about this compost site. We can't continue to let people come in there and they don't pay. It's got to be something done. We're losing thousands of dollars. In the last 7 years, I'll bet you we had enough to build 3 gates. It was brought up that in one of them letters things we got that said there'd be a gate put in this fall. I haven't heard nothing about that gate being done. So I'm leaving it up to you commissioners to do what you're the job, or somebody to do the job to make so to get it done. Every one of you have a job to do, and I don't want anything come back that was and blaming you, every one of you, for something that's gone, just like that union deal. You better make sure that a labor lawyer looks at that. So when I belonged to the union, when I became a manager, I could no longer belong to a union. And you remember our president like that a few years back, in 1980, I think it was? He fired all the air controllers. But guess what? He found out he could not take management to do the job. So I don't know if it's legal or not, but I don't think it is, because I've talked to a few guys that were managers, and they all said the same thing I was saying. Once they became a manager, you couldn't belong to the union. So that's all I have.
Thank you.
Getting back to what Steve was talking a while ago about getting you fellas educated on how to run this city. I asked one of you about a year ago what kind of government we have here in Gladstone, and he could not give me an answer. So that tells me that you are just like me. I don't know how to run a city. I don't know how to run a council. I don't know how to run a meeting or who's got the power over who. But I think it is a very good idea that all you commissioners take this short training course to learn the process of running a city and where the balance of power is. My name is Orvis Velikat, Gladstone. I forgot to say that. But honestly, you guys, I know you all are fresh. You're all young men. We got no old people here, and I don't think you know all the rules. And it takes a man to stand up and say that. I don't know all the rules. But I think it's about time all of you get educated at what your job is. And that job that Steve is talking about, that is where you'll be beginning to find out what your job is and how to do it, rather than letting all your department heads tell you what you should do and what you shouldn't do. Because I've heard it here time and time again. The recorder always said, no, you can't do that. No, you can't do that. I have never heard her give the, you should do it this way instead. You should do it this way. But it's always no, 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 no. And I think about time you fellas stand up and do the job you were elected to do. And get yourself educated on doing the job that you're in. If you don't want to do that, I myself would prefer to see you go out the door and let somebody else come in here and do the job. Thank you.
Thank you. All right, moving on to city.
Go ahead.
Oh, you had something? Sorry.
Dwayne Nelson, 582 North 9th Street, Gladstone here. Question I have is, and I don't know if you guys looked at this already or whatnot, but on the corner of 9th Street and North Court, where our being semis and things come in there, and I don't know if there's a regulation in regards to the curbing and whatnot on that corner, but with the way the curbs is set up now, the semis, especially like the double puppers, coal trucks and whatnot, they have to go over the curb. It's pretty much impossible. I watched one car, and in fact I pulled him out of there for our officers because he got squished in between, trying to get in between them. When those trucks, even empty, go up and over that curb, it shakes your building so bad, it's just unbelievable. I don't need an alarm clock because at 5 a.m. I'm going to get shook out of bed anyway. The reason I'm saying that is it's structurally damaging to the foundations of the buildings that are around there. It is busting up the foundation. I know on my building in some areas where it has cracked the foundation. And, you know, you get enough just from the highways when they get in rough repair, cracks or bumps or things like that. But on a daily basis of the semis having to drive over those curbs, as a matter of fact, I see a lot of cars drive over those curbs, especially when they're texting and actually they don't stop turning. They actually drive right up and almost hit the front porch of my house next door to the store. But the curb system itself is only a little short piece of curb that's even put there. I'm sure it designates where the road is, and the rest is all tapered down. My building tapers just about everywhere on both streets, except for those little pieces of curb. One of the two of them is the major one that all the trucks drive over, and they really don't have a choice. It's probably damaging to their trucks as well, but I don't. If there's not a ruling, I would like to see if it could be just looked at whether or not these could be that curb eliminated, just tapered off, like the rest of it. It's all tapered off anyway. So it's nothing but a speed bump there, and there's a stop sign, so we don't really need a speed bump. but it is damaging, and it's, if you feel how hard they actually shake coming through there, shake buildings and things, it's quite a bit. That was one, and then the other was a lot of the stonework and things that are, done for beautification on sidewalks, corners, the sidewalks with the little knobby stonework done to slip proof, I'm sure, as the sidewalks taper down. None of those hold up, and they certainly aren't going to hold up for salt. I don't know if anyone looked at the content in the construction of those type of sidewalks, but they're not made to hold up, most especially due to salt. And so just about everyone going in and the bricks coming out, even on Main Street that haven't been in there that long, that maybe somebody might want to look at a different type of material or way of beautifying other than using bricks that are just plain not going to hold up. That was all I had.
Thank you. Anyone else? All right, moving on to city commissioner comments. Commissioner view.
Basically, do we have a way of reporting potholes? I noticed Escanaba had a nice little article in the
Yeah, I
paper.
read that article too, and I actually,
I thought it was pretty nice.
Willie Bizow stopped by and we were talking about that. I was gonna talk with that with staff. It'd be a neat thing we could add to our website, which we're having worked on right now.
Yeah, because I had a gentleman stop by today, and he said, I don't know if it was around 4th Street in Minnesota or somewhere in that area, he said there's 2 great big potholes that if they don't get filled, the water's going to get in, and it's going to tear up the road a little more. And I invited him here tonight, and he didn't come, but I want to speak on his behalf that, if we can check somewhere in that area for them potholes for him and get them filled before the snow gets too deep, I think it'll be saving us a little bit of money. And I also want to wish everyone a Merry Christmas. I want to thank the citizens of Gladstone for giving me all the insight and different things that I've talked about. I feel uneasy bringing some of the stuff up because I know it's controversial, but just keep letting me know what you think, and I will speak for you. Thank you.
All right, Commissioner Thompson.
I have no comments.
Commissioner Mantala.
Nothing at this time.
All right, and I don't have anything. So, city clerk comments. Did she leave you anything? Okay, well then I guess we are adjourned.